everyone. Welcome to our third episode of the cast, where we talk all things machinima. In today's episode, titled Lights, Camera, Algorithm, we're going to be weighing in on our ever so popular debate of using AI in machinima. Should we? Shan't we? Is there a healthy balance? Maybe when, if ever, does it go too far? So let's get started. As you all know, I'm your host, Laz, and while I may not be a leading expert on anything AI related, we have an amazing panel of people today who are just itching to weigh in. So let me introduce you to them now. We have Eve Voxel-Petliakov, photographer, machinima director, and recent winner of 3 Waffly Awards.
Hi.
We have Muli Parton, prim enthusiast and Second Life machinist.
Hello, it's me.
We have Anna Kirka, singer, songwriter, and junior machinima director.
Hello, nice to be here.
And last but certainly not least, we have Fiore Freeman, one of the directors of Nomara and Bay City Studios.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, we're honored to have you all here, so let's get started. So we're just going to jump right into the questions here. What has been your personal journey on adopting AI technologies? Were you initially skeptical, but eventually opted to give it a try? Were you an early adopter, or do you still resist? Let's go with Anna first.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm coming from a technical background in my real life work, so I'm inclined to see new technology as something I want to embrace. So same thing with AI. It doesn't scare me, or it didn't scare me at first. It's going pretty fast and no one knows where we'll get with all of this. But still, it's a thing we need to embrace because it's going to be here. It's going to be here to stay. And there's no way to avoiding it.
I agree. That's a really good answer. And Muli, how do you feel about it?
It's been, a journey for me. I think that I got started. I wanted to use voices in one of my first real machinimas, and between using it for video production and audio production, it's been a gateway, and I think there are some good things that can be used for such machinima.
Yeah. Eve, do you agree with what they have said so far, or how do you feel about it?
I have been deeply resistant to AI for quite some time. But one thing that has really turned things around was actually meeting Anna and seeing the work that she has done. It just was kind of amazing, and it was so subtle and well placed that I definitely downloaded or went to the website and created an account so that I could start learning how to utilize that myself.
Yeah, sometimes it can definitely be used too much. Well, I guess that's my personal opinion about it, but
Oh, agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen some things that have been a little on the cringy side where it gets a little uncanny, and the mix of like the realism that AI can bring to a Second Life avatar can be quite jarring.
yeah. Fiore, do you agree with Eve or Muli and Anna? How do you feel about AI? What's your personal journey on it?
So, oh man, first of all, talking about AI is super scandalous. So this is a very scandalous, topic in general. But man, I think for me, I wasn't really taking AI very seriously until like the last year or so. At first, because, for a little bit of perspective here, I come from the generation of Terminator, right? So Skynet and all of the things. So
Yes.
for me, there's always been a little bit of hesitancy when you talk about AI. But I also worked in tech for many years, and if you don't learn it, you get left behind. So it's really important. And this last year for me has been a really cool experiment with AI. Muli, I learned about different AI techniques, and Premiere Pro that literally add basically frame rate, to your film that you get from Second Life, in post edit, which is crazy. And I use something that cleans audio before I use it in my show that completely eliminates background noise. Now, it's not perfect all the time, but a lot of times it is. And I used an AI voice this year in one of my scenes, just one, right? But sometimes, for this particular part, I had literally tried to cast this guy for almost 2 years, and I could never get anybody to bite. I don't know why, but nobody wants to play him. He has a voice now, thank God, but I couldn't get anybody to play this voice. And and not only play the voice, but then say his lines in Japanese. So,
Yes.
it was really great to be able to use a good Japanese AI voice to be able to say, I mean, this would be like the only time he ever does it anyway, right? So it's like a one scene thing. And for me, as you can tell, I'm very passionate. Sorry, like this will be the last thing I say on this one.
No,
But
you're good.
I have a character in my show, Namara. His name's Jean Philippe. He is a real person. Or he's a really amazing AI that has like faked me so much that I don't know that he's a real, an AI, but he's a real person. And every time I use Jean Philippe's voice, it's $80 every time.
Whoa.
So like, that adds up, right? Like to get a guy to say some lines in a language or whatever, if you can't find somebody in Second Life to do it, and you really want to do it, it's $80 for Jean Philippe to talk. But that AI Japanese voice, it was $15, and I could have done it as much as I wanted all month long. It's just so that's why I'm in the experimental phase, because it can put somebody out of work. It can
Right.
also save an entire project. It's like this really powerful anime sword level tool that you can you have to be careful how you wield it because it's really powerful and amazing.
It's scary, and to an extent, like it's very the
For sure.
controversy of the scariness of the controversy is like like you said, you need it when sometimes you have no other turn, and you have to use it, and sometimes you're putting someone else out of work, but that person you couldn't find.
Yeah, I mean, like literally,
Yeah.
there's some guy somewhere that speaks English and Japanese that didn't get $80 from me, right? Because I couldn't find him to get him to do it. But I mean,
Right.
it is what it is. So it's
Well,
AI's crazy.
yes. Well, since we have you talking here, why don't you go ahead and start us out? Where do you draw the line when it comes to using AI and machinima?
Okay, so I think Second Life is a super amazing tool. It's for me in some ways it's like WoW meets better Minecraft meets like Unreal Engine. That's not as cool. So it's this really amazing tool that's amazing for telling stories. But I'm a Second Life purist. So like I really try not to touch my Second Life footage too much. I try not to even use too many green screens. So I don't know if I'm like the right one here, but I do, I think the most AI
Everybody's different.
yeah,
so-
yeah. No,
yeah.
and I love green screens. Like one of my favorite scenes, the tornado scene, is totally a green screen. But I think, and maybe Mooley, you can tell me if this is how you say it. Is it interpolation? Is that how you say it? But that's what I do.
Frame interpolation.
Yeah, that counts as AI, right? Because if so, boy, I interpolate like everything. I love it, and so
Yeah, the same interpolation is not necessarily AI. It used to be a normal technique. AI can also do it, but it's not necessarily AI.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
I just learned the other day that apparently you can do a little bit of interpolation with Premiere Pro, but I haven't quite learned that yet. So,
That's how I do it, is in Premiere Pro.
well, maybe you can teach me.
It's nothing like the stuff that Mooley does. Mooley's like before and afters are it's just amazing. It's, I can't be a
Yeah.
hater on AI simply because of how much it can change, blah footage, because you could never get it because of animated textures and lag and whatever. And it can put it back to where it needs to be. It's such an amazing tool.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Mooley, speaking of Mooley, where do you draw the line when it comes to using AI and machinima?
Like currently, like the way, like I'm someone who uses reshade in my productions, and I try and render everything in Second Life. So I really try to avoid like using any like visually generated items, which Fury was saying, like the green screen. So really haven't used I really try to avoid using any like CGI, like really, because it's I don't know, like my work's basically Second Life, so it's like I really try to avoid using CGI if I really don't have to.
Yeah. And Eve, what do you think?
I agree. I'm relatively new to the whole machinima community. I hesitate to use AI for anything. I try to keep it as pure as I can. recognizing that I'm still learning how to utilize all of the tools that have been available to everyone forever. I'm not aware of all of them yet, and I really want to get good at using them before I move on to kind of trying to enhance my work with AI.
So kind of having been so resistant on it, do you, by looking at maybe some other works that you have seen, do you feel like, where do you feel like it kind of went overboard, where the line should have been drawn?
I've seen some pieces that get submitted that are so incredibly distorted that it's obvious that they're not filmed in Second Life, whereas sometimes it looks like they just gave the AI a prompt and slapped some music on top of it and submitted it to a festival. And those are the moments when I kind of sat back and I was like, really? Come on.
Yeah.
It felt kind of lazy. I mean, I hate to use that because some people are very, very good at writing prompts for AI, and that, I admit, is a skill. I have literally tried it and created some real nightmare fuel in my day, which I would never post online.
Not the orange juice commercial. I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
No,
That's scary.
my one of my partners actually made one that was literally the most horrifying thing I have ever seen. Oh God, it was so gross. And it just started with an SL picture of her and a friend, and they were dancing, and she just wanted it to animate them dancing, and it ended up their bodies just kind of disassembling and
Oh.
falling to the ground, and it was just very scary. It was very scary. It's like, I do not like this. Please.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah.
That's where we enter it into the horror film category. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Anna, someone who does use AI more often, where do you draw the line?
I don't draw the line anywhere, but I'll tell you this. You have to see AI as a creative tool. So that means if you can use it to do something in Second Life that is not possible in Second Life yet, then why not use it? It's the same story as in real life, you know. We had in the 1900s, the first movies were shot, and it was all very simple. You could just have, you know, analog movies, and you couldn't edit much about it. Then some people started to think, okay, we can do some special effects if we do some stuff in After Effects. Really analog After Effects, like, for example, merging two screens on top of each other. For the purists in that time, it was like, oh yeah, you can't do that because that's horrible. That's not real. That's not pure. But of course, they used it. And by 1920, we had movies which were completely science fiction, and people had no idea how they did it because they were using practical effects. That was the first step. Practical effects meaning you are doing stuff that you cannot do in real life. If you translate that to Second Life, it means things you cannot do in Second Life. If you can't do it, why wouldn't you use some technique on top of Second Life to make it happen? Don't forget, as a machinima artist, you're already replacing real humans by pixels, so we're already on that step. And then if you also look what happened in the real life cinema, let's go fast forward to the 1980s, where CGI started to come, well, maybe 1980s, 1990s. Jurassic Park was kind of the last real movie where there was no CGI use, where it was all practical effects, and even there was already some editing. But then, yeah, then we go forward, and then there is things like Lord of the Rings, 11 Oscars. So much new techniques were used in that movie. Colorization, things that was never heard of. It was also scandalous because, yeah, you have to do it on your film set. You have to have the right light. If you want a scene to be green, you have to have green. Not anymore. You could have a scene in white and you could add green later, or more complex things. So that was also new steps. It wasn't AI yet, but we were using tools to make what you're doing better, but it's still a creative use. And that's the thing what I am doing also by acting with my face and transferring it to Second Life. I have a feeling that I'm adding something to what I'm doing. I'm not typing a prompt and then something comes out and I'm putting it into my videos. No, I'm actually have to learn to act and how to use my face to get it into Second Life. So for me, AI is a tool if you use it creatively and you can make something better. There is no limit.
Right. So it's kind of all of a part of evolution of filmmaking almost,
Absolutely.
as
And
as you were saying.
for sure, if I wouldn't have to use AI to do this, I would do it in Second Life itself. And there was at some point puppetry. So that was a webcam that could be used that then could recognize your face movements and would transfer it into Second Life. There was some experiments with that, but Linden Labs didn't continue with that. So I'm resorting now to AI to do this. Could I do it without AI? Absolutely. There's techniques to animate a 3D face, and it could be done, but it would cost me so much that it's not even for amateurs anymore. Then we're all professionals.
Right.
So if we can do it with a reasonably affordable AI tool, then so be it.
Now, Muli, one of the arguments people have is that AI will replace everyone. Do you think AI will eventually replace every role within a video production? We talked about video, this evolution of filmmaking. Do you feel like it will replace every role?
At some point, likely, yeah. Because, you got the audio, you got the visual. I've seen one of the editing tools, they could take all your footage and basically put together your entire movie, and it will match it to the sound and the beats and the transitions. I've never used it personally, but as if it would be any good, I mean, I don't know about now, but at some point, yes.
Yeah. Eve, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I hope not. I mean, I'm still so new to all of this and starting to dip my toes into AI, but I also feel like, yeah, it's coming and we can't get away from it, but it also has the potential to just be awful. And socially and artistically, things that I've seen are just incredibly derivative. Sometimes when people put cues in or prompts in, I but I also have friends that love it and
Yeah.
utilize it a lot. And I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I want to try to be inclusive and open minded about it. So I'm trying really, really hard. There's a little revulsion deep down inside me. And anytime I see it overused or used in a way that it's really, really obvious that it's AI, that I just kind of, when people start sprouting extra fingers, I recoil a little bit. Not a fan.
Hopefully that all evens out because, like, Anna was saying, and it's not going anywhere, so hopefully eventually all of that just kind of evens itself out, but you can kind of tell anyways.
Yeah.
Fiore, yeah. Fiore, how do you feel about it? Do you think it's going to replace everyone? Do you think it's going to replace every role?
So I'm a spiritual person. I do think that AI is pretty impressive. I mean, I think it will still always need a prompt. There's a creativity that I think humans bring to the table that I don't know that AI is able to match. Maybe it will, but not right now. And I think we're still a ways off from it, but I mean, AI can do a lot. I think for me, it gets both amazing and worrisome in its ability to do things like code and that kind of stuff. It's so easy to just go to Chat GPT and whip together a code to help rotate a prem that you might need to have rotate for a specific camera shot. So it's a very powerful tool and very dangerous. So yeah, I think, I don't know, it's going to be a wild ride for sure, but I don't know that it has the spark that we humans have. So maybe it won't replace everybody.
Right. Anna, how do you feel about it? Do you think it's going to eventually replace us all?
I don't think so. At least, that we're getting into the realm of sci-fi. It's impossible to say what will happen from here. Just as much as it was
Yeah.
impossible to say in 1995 when internet was suddenly a reality for everyone, that there would be social media in 2007, for example. There's absolutely no way to tell how far this thing will go. A lot of people are scared because they compare it to magic, basically, or witchcraft even. Why? Because they don't understand it. I don't understand it either. And people have the tendency to see something that they don't understand. A lot of scare and see it as a magic. I mean, if you live in the jungle and you never saw anything about the realities of life from 1900 and further, and you would suddenly see a plane pass in the sky, there's absolutely no way you can even explain what happened. You saw it with your own eyes, but you don't even have the words to explain what happened. I think the same thing is happening with AI. Is it going to replace us all? No, absolutely not. And especially not in movie making. A good example, for example, is CGI. That was suddenly the answer for everything, and everyone was scared CGI is going to replace everything. We don't need actors anymore. And then you have movies like The Mummy Returns. I don't know if any of you saw that one. The Rock in The Mummy Returns is the most
Yeah.
horrible CGI you can have. They tried to put him
Yeah, that's
completely
awful.
in animated and it didn't work. But then fast forward to movies like Lord of the Rings, and then you see what they did with Gollum. And Gollum basically was capturing a real life actor, turning him to a 3D object, if you want, and putting that in a movie. Then you have a fantastic thing because suddenly you see a creature which does not exist come alive in front of your eyes, and it was revolutionary and everyone loved it. So AI has the possibility to do that at a way cheaper price. So you and me, who are now have the possibility to edit for cheap on the computer, now have the ability to use CGI in our movies. So why wouldn't we use it?
Would you be open to an entirely AI generated machinima production, or do you think human input will always be necessary for certain artistic elements? Anna, why don't you start us off since you were already on the topic, kind of?
If you will use completely AI for machinima, then we're not talking machinima anymore. Then we're talking mixed media or even just AI movies. So I don't really understand the question. AI can be used as a tool to enhance our machinima today, but completely make prompts and do something. Yeah, then it's something completely different. Of course, at some point there will be an AI which would be trained on Second Life images, and you could possibly say, "Hey, create me a movie with an avatar that looks like she's wearing a Lada X and she's from 2000 and I don't know 24." But I don't think we're at that point yet. So no, I don't think that will happen. No.
Yeah. Fiore, I know you were talking about this earlier when you answered the last question. You were saying that you feel like someone's always going to have to be controlling it, you know. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I actually was trying to sit here and think, like, what job is AI providing that a human maybe wasn't doing before that? And I couldn't really, I mean, like, maybe interpolation, but I think we would be like, that's like a mega stretch. So no, I can't think of anything to answer that specific question. But then when you were talking, I like actually researched the definition of machinima, like what is the definition? And if we're going with like the traditional definition, which is like making little films from like computer graphics and video games, I don't think it falls quite into that category. But I don't know, part of me feels like I should like devil's advocate here and argue that doesn't machinima count? Like if it's being made from an AI on an AI thingy, then doesn't that count as computer graphics? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that one. That's a stumper.
Moody, what do you think? Do you think that would you be open to an entirely AI generated machinima production, or do you think human input will always be necessary for certain artistic elements?
Well, I mean, personally, I wouldn't do one, but I do believe someone's going to do one, and you'd have to see how it looks. Because I'm kind of in the camp of Eve, whereas, you know, like in the case of Second Life, if someone were to try and submit a film, then it looks like something that came from a prompt. You know, it's I wouldn't really consider that Second Life machinima
Yeah.
anymore. As far as replacing people, you're gonna need some sort of human element. You know, even if it's just a creative spark, and then the computer does the rest.
Eve, how do you feel about it?
I feel like it's inevitable that we're all going to be exposed to something that is completely AI driven, whether we know it or not. So I feel like I can't really poo poo something like that. Though, if you've seen enough media, I love movies. I watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of TV. And since I've started creating machinima, I view all of those things very differently, where I'm kind of breaking things down and I'm learning that over time there are a lot of recycled plot lines So I feel like 10 years from now, when I'm going to the movies with my friends, I may be watching something that is completely AI generated. I don't know, but I will know everything that's going to happen next. I will know how this movie is going to end, probably a quarter of the way into it because it's just so predictable. But movies are kind of like that now. So I hate to say that. I really do. I feel like I want to believe that somebody's going to come up with something that is just going to be mind blowing. I do not believe AI can create something new.
Yeah. It
So
has
there's
to
that.
learn and be trained, right?
Correct, accurate, yes. As far as I know.
So people frown on the use of AI and argue you should have gotten a human to do it. But what is something that AI is needed for because there is no human that can do it? Who wants to start us off on that one?
Me.
Okay.
Interpolation, if that counts. And sometimes voices. If there's not a human that speaks the language in the tone that you want, those would count.
Mooley, what do you think?
Well, for example, my productions, I do use like Topaz Video AI, which not only in addition can it do the interpolation, which is great for boosting low frame rate video, it can also do upscaling, So you could take say a lower res video and like say you needed to get some extra zoom in for your production, you can get that extra resolution just to give that effect a bit more impact. Some more clarity. Or, it can also do things like slow motion, which is, instead of boosting the frame rate, you can actually generate some extra frames to get that slow motion effect to make your videos smoother. So, there are also other tools like upscaling your textures to make make certain graphical elements within the Second Life world sharper. So for your actors or something, you can make them look better. Like since Second Life now does 2K textures, you can do something like that, to give it more visual impact in your recording. So
And Anna, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I would like to come back to the interpolation thing, for example. It's something that already exists in real life. In the past, or even currently, I think, in the production of anime, the guys who are really designing the style and everything, they don't really paint 24 frames per second because making a movie would take 20 years, So what they actually do is they make a scene, they make another scene, they make another scene, sometimes a second, sometimes a few seconds apart, and they pass it on to a whole bunch of guys who do nothing else than really on some, I don't know what it's called in English, kind of a transparent paper, look to one image, look to the other image, and they paint the image in between. So that's actually interpolation. That's what they are doing. So now it's being done by a machine, but it was being done by handiwork. So I just wanted to mention that one. And then, another point that I heard here is that AI cannot create anything which is new. At this point, it may be true. It won't always be true. But you have to look at something differently because I keep hearing AI is just repeating what it learned. It's trained on stuff. What are we as humans? What music would you write if you can write music if you wouldn't have heard the Beatles? What would you write if you wouldn't have heard any music in your life? You could put a piano in front of your nose. They could explain to you, okay, look, this is the 12 notes that you can use. They can even explain to you, this is the 4/4 meter, and they will let you write. Then you will write something new. But no, you had a life. You had, before you started playing an instrument, maybe 12 years or something in your life before you can really play an instrument. But during that time, you listened to so much music, you sampled the music, you learned the music, you were trained on that music. So AI is doing exactly the same thing as humans are doing. So it's not taking something and reproducing it anew. It's really learning as much as it can, and then by trial and error, trying to think what would be the next thing that I can do. Every word that it writes when you put a prompt is just like, what would be the best word that I can put after these words? This is how AI works, basically. It's much more complex than that, but that's the basic. And it's the same thing when it's writing music. It's really making something new. It's not copying notes that are already existing and putting it together. This is new music you are hearing. Is it good at this point? No, that's something discussable. But you really can't say that AI is copying things. It's really creating things out of all the stuff that it learned. So even if it's training on everything that it can find on the internet, let it, because this is not a breach of copyright. This is really learning.
Yeah, I remember on our first episode of The Look, I heard the voice that was used in the intro, and I was like, wow, who is that? And I had asked Rizzo who did it, and I was shocked that when he told me it was AI generated. It was really nice. It didn't even sound robotic or anything like that. It was very human. Eve, how do you feel about the topic that we're discussing right now?
I am not sure yet. I feel like invention is the mother of necessity. I don't know what I need until I need it, and so far haven't needed it. So, yeah, I couldn't really say, but I feel like as I continue my machinima journey, it's bound to come up eventually.
I think you'll cross that path once you start exploring it more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Muli, since you said one of your first uses of AI and machinima was with voice acting, how do you feel about the growing use of AI in voice acting? Do you think AI can replicate the nuances of human performance?
In the future, I mean, currently, like I use 11 Labs and their speech tools, and I know actually just the other week they've dropped a third generation of their speech engine that is going to allow like natural prompts. So like you could type out a phrase and then you tag it with some sort of expression, like it's like, so you give it some sort of emotion. I haven't played with it yet, but like stuff like that will be up and coming.
I remember the AI you used for Alterscape, and he was asking that there be pauses and things added into the AI over voiceover. That was really cool how you were able to add that into that.
Yeah, it took some prompt engineering, but
Yeah. But it was cool how that was what was requested and you were able to, get that added in there so that it fit what was required for the film.
absolutely it was.
And Fiore, you also use AI voices. What is your thoughts on that?
So I try really hard to only hire Second Life actors. Because I can really work with them on how to say specific words because I have a lot of fantasy words in Namara. And you can't really tell, at least I haven't found in the one little AI generated voice that I used, it didn't really have a way to say like, this is how you say this word. So you have to just kind of go with whatever they go with. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, I mean, I can say that the one that I did use, like Muli said, had the ability to like pick emotions that you could put with it. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I think voice acting is definitely one of those areas that AI is going to take over. Like,
I hope not.
I mean, maybe not for things like shows, like nobody could do Rami like Lucy because
Yeah.
you just couldn't do it like her, and that is the one thing, like I can say to Lucy, you know what, ad lib whatever you want here, or like if you think this line sounds dumb, you can change it, just don't change this part. Or in my script I can say things like make panting running sounds, and I'm sure you could probably do that with an AI too, but with Lucy I can just talk to her and say, hey, do this, and I can put the notes, and she understands my jargon, and it kind of just flows. But that could just because I'm old, and it's easier to talk than it is to say, like, put prompting in an AI. But stuff like commercials, I don't know. I think AI is going to take that one. Like, short blips where, like, it just has to be, like, a nice, friendly personality without episodes worth of depth. I don't know. I bet AI is going to get that one.
Yeah. We can go to Anna and talk about it. Do you think the AI can replicate the nuances of human performance?
I'm not sure, but I wouldn't go into that direction anyway, because there is a technique that you can use which is way more interesting than creating voices from text. There is AI tools out there where you can do voice cloning. So basically that means that you can have 10 minutes of anyone's recording here, for example. You feed it to an AI, it will train on it, and it will understand every possible sound that you can make.
Oh, wow.
Then instead of then instead of using text to change into that voice, which is also perfectly possible, you could have an actor that you like Feori does. But for example, if she wouldn't really like the color of the voice from that person, she could say, okay, do your lines, and all the nuances, all the little things that are in the voice will be completely translated into the color of the other voice, which means you sound like someone else. It goes further than that because you can also merge those voices. So you can have 5 or 6 voices and say, okay, I want 20% of that voice, 40% of that voice, 60% of that voice, and you create a completely new voice. But you are still driving the voice. So at that point, you are still acting because you are voice acting, you or someone else or whoever you like. It couldn't change me into Michael Jackson, for example, because as you hear, I obviously have an accent in my English that I cannot get rid of. It would transfer to Michael Jackson sounding like he's from Europe, from Belgium. So that would be very funny. But that's the technique that I would use if I would want to have a specific voice or a specific voice color in one of my machinima. If that would ever happen, that's what I would use. I would just ask someone, okay, give me this and this talk. Find someone with the right accent, someone English, someone American, whatever. And then, make it go for the voice-to-voice solution and have that, which is perfectly possible today and which is completely free.
That's really interesting, actually. You are like, you have great music videos, so you definitely are working with music almost 100% of the time. So, our next question, I would like to start with you. What are the key benefits and limitations of using AI for sound design or music composition?
I'm not using it at all at this moment.
Mhm.
Most of the things that I sing are just cover songs, so basically karaoke. There is a few things that I did write myself, but I think I showed it to you, Los. I make that just from scratch into a sequencer. I take a piano and I start putting some notes. I take strings, I put it under until it sounds good. It's for me a very difficult and long process because I do not play keyboard. I do not play any strings. But it is possible if you have a musical background or knowledge, basic knowledge, you can put something together that sounds okay. And that's, for example, what I did on one of my videos. It was completely rewritten, so I took the lyrics from an existing song, but I wanted to have a completely different interpretation of it. So I rewrote the music, but I used the same lyrics. No AI touched that process at all. I did see a lot of videos which are being dropped, which are using completely those Suno-generated AI songs. They start to sound better. They used to sound really bad compared to actually good recordings. The sound quality is getting better, but the music, and especially if it's with AI generated text, really sounds weird. I mean, you hear something is off. But yeah, that's the same thing like video 3 years ago. It also looked off. But if you look what video is now being done by the latest Google AI, it's starting to become very realistic. So I think we might get AI generated music. And I think it will be used a lot in mass-produced shows. I'm thinking shows like Law and Order, for example, where you have, I don't know, just 5 or 6 Law and Orders and it's one episode per week. Instead of having a guy who is doing music all the time, you can actually start to prompt AI and say, okay, I want this style of background music. I want it to be sad. I want it to be happy. Something will come out, and because people are not using or not listening actively to that, and it's just helping you set a mood in a movie, I think these things will start to get used. And unfortunately, that means that the lesser composers will lose their jobs. Yeah.
Eve, how do you feel about it?
Ooh, music composition, maybe. I've heard some pretty hilarious things come out of AI that honestly some of my friends who are also musicians would have come up with if they were probably given that prompt as well. Hilarious and horrifying, but hard to stop listening to. It's like a car crash. But sound effects, oh man, I don't know. I'm the same as you. I really like to go through libraries to find effects that I need to use, or I make them myself. My brother's actually a sound designer for a AAA gaming studio. He does
Oh,
Foley work
wow.
and all that kind of stuff. So we grew up kind of into that kind of stuff. So yeah, if I can get it from creating it myself or pulling it from a library where someone else has created it, I've never seen somebody use AI for it, but I mean, it's probably going to happen eventually.
And Muli, how do you feel about it?
Well, again, like one of the tools I use, again, Elvin Labs. I know recently they introduced a sound. I can't remember the word, but you can actually generate, like a specific sound from a prompt, from a prompt engineering. Currently, I would like it depends what you want. Like it's like in my opinion, it's not like it's not quite there yet, but this is just one particular example. Like I would rather, for my selection of sound libraries, I think the sounds are a lot better, but it also depends, which library you're subscribed to. So maybe somewhere down the line it might be competitive with like a sound library.
And Fiore, what do you think?
I don't really use it. Though, if there was some way, I mean, I guess I use it when I use Adobe to like clean background noise or something, but it's not really something I know anything about or use in my productions. Most of the sounds that I get, I either collect them myself or I snag them from libraries or ASMR videos on YouTube. So I
Interesting.
I have I mean, because like when you have to like somebody walking on crunchy gravel, like that's a
Yeah.
really specific sound. Or what does it sound like when somebody, I don't know, I had some really specific ones in there. And most of those I haven't really found a way to hunt for them via AI or anything like that. But I wouldn't be against learning a technique that somehow made my audio sound more believable or something like that. I would be into that.
So, okay. So let's pretend, guys, that all of you are coding scientist geniuses. Okay. And you could create an AI tool to help out with your machinima production. What would you make this tool do and why? Does anybody want to start?
I wouldn't use it at all for the simple reason that I'm doing machinima as something I do for fun. Why would I create an AI and take away the thing that I love to do? And that's the basic of it all. And the whole discussion kind of is about that. If there is stuff that you love to do, you will always be able to do it. If you take a guitar and you want to start making some music, you will be able to. Even 20 years from now, when there is an AI who can, I don't know, write 500 tunes in 1 second, and they're all amazing, and they match the stuff that the Beatles did, for example, so be it. You can still take that guitar, you can still do it for yourself. So, if anything, I think that if AI will evolve to a point that it will be able to do a lot of stuff that we do now in the creative worlds, in other worlds, it doesn't matter. For your own fun, you will still be able to do it yourself. So, why be scared that you will be replaced? You won't be.
True. That's true. Muli,
Oh boy. Well, I mean, in terms of Second Life Machinima, there are some things that I once heard of a machinist using like 6 different computers to set up their scene at once, and it would be some automation task. Like as far as animating, I could do some super genius stuff. Would be like animating specific avatars to be yapping at one point, or have certain scripts, do things. I mean, it does it now, but if we could have some sort of, if you can't get somebody else to help you out, I mean, it would be kind of a great tool to have, some super genius thing to help you out and automate all these different tasks at once. It could make a definitely like the more engaging production visually. All these things going on, elements at the push of a button, the automation helps there. I would think.
kind of like having a key binding for it. You just press F1, then all of a sudden this AI starts working in with you at the same
That's right.
time.
The disco lights come down, whatever goes on, this and that, yada.
Eve,
Yeah, I think I agree with Muli. I'd probably go with wanting to be able to tell it to do something automated because I can't get someone to help me. I may be running into this issue with my next video. It is surprising how hard it is to get people to come assist with videos as much as they watch my videos and say, oh my gosh, let me know when you're going to make the next one. I really, really want to be in it. I will get something completely set up. I'm ready to go. I've got the afternoon free. Crickets.
Listen,
drives
all
me
you
nuts.
have to do is ask. Always, always, I'm here for you, girl. And Rizzo is there for you too. I'm sure of it.
I think I'm just asking in the wrong places because I've definitely had times when I'm just like, come on, guys, anyone, Bueller,
Yeah.
please, pretty please, I will pay you, please.
Just put it in the group chat and we
Yeah.
will be on our way. If nobody else, we will definitely make it work and help you out with that. Fiore.
So I guess I'm going to give a little Second Life shout out, right? Because I think I'm really excited about the AI bots for machinima purposes. Because now you have minions that will go and like sit on things and like do what you tell them. They're not quite as cool yet to be able to do everything that you would need them to do, but they can do some stuff. So that has been really helpful already. And I'm one of those people that has like I think we have it's like 12 or 18 accounts for Namara with like different avatars and stuff with different clothing. And so, we'll be logged in on like the iPad and my computer and my husband's computer and his work computer and both of our phones and like, trying to get all of those people. But if I was a genius, I would figure out how to use Unreal Engine's metahumans, like their metahuman content, and put it in Second Life. That's what I would do for Second Life Machinima. They have a really cool. It's very similar to what they were doing with the puppetry program, I think, originally before they stopped. But you can they have a lot of AI now. Before it used to take a recording of your face saying the animation, but now it doesn't even do that. Now you tell it what emotion the avatar is feeling, and then you type the things and it will match it to your audio when you put it in there. So that's what I would add.
Oh, nice. All right. Some might say that this is comparing apples to oranges. How would you compare human made content to AI generated content?
Well, I'll tell you this. There's parts in the videos that I made where AI is used in places that you wouldn't expect that it was used. So you tell me if you can see a difference between what is AI generated and what is not.
That's a very good challenge. We love a good challenge.
I mean, okay, so recently I did have a friend send me some videos of AI where AI generated content can have a voice now. They can speak. And some of it was slightly alarming where it looked like just normal human created content, and then this woman's head just opened up and exploded and everybody was covered in colored dust. And I remember my jaw dropping like, oh, I don't like that. Not great. But I also come from a background where I have worked with a lot of independent real life film creators, a lot of independent movie makers and film festivals. And God, the more I think about it, the more I feel like the future is really bleak. In the whole prospect of creating film, because eventually, unfortunately, it feels like AI is going to be able to mimic human created content really, really well. It's going to be hard to tell.
I agree with Anne. Like, if it's used smartly, you won't know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
been stuff that I've seen, I bluntly look at, and this is AI, and then there's stuff I post, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible, and people like, this is AI, and they point out some small detail I might have missed. It's stuff like it's all in the details, but often than not, I mean, yeah, as long as if when it's used intelligently, I mean, you can fool anybody.
Fiore.
I think I agree with everybody else. It's already hard to tell in some places. And I think the smartest places to use AI are the places you'd probably never even notice.
Yeah.
And You know, I mean, like you can make a whole video. I spent some time working in marketing. Like right now, you could make a whole video of somebody that doesn't even exist, laughing and having a conversation, like a real AI generated
Mm-hmm.
movie of a lady sitting in like a kitchen or something. I mean, it's just a matter of time. Sorry, dum dum dum. Skynet, here it comes.
Do you guys feel as if AI bridges the gap between skilled machinima creators and beginners in a good way, or do you feel as if it only creates shortcuts that stunt the learning process?
Maybe it stunts the progress, but tools are always changing, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to technology, and since we are kind of making movies in a technology based sort of thing, they'll probably always evolve. But I think I think AI helps, but I still don't know that it would replace like just the general skill of say somebody like Mooley or Teal or Jackson Red Star or some of these people that have like they have like actual schooling about how to say maybe capture a shot or edit something or whatever. I think sometimes it will bridge a little bit of the gap, but talent is still talent. And I think that will shine through.
Oh, snap. Name dropping over here.
I kind of agree with Fiore on this one. You still have to be able to create something. You still have to have the imagination. If you're gonna use AI as a tool for that, at this moment, obviously you'll see that AI was used for that, and then it's not machinima anymore. If you completely would replace your input with that, yeah, there's enough videos out there, honestly, with just a few dancing people on top of the AI created music. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are not interesting to watch. I mean, if you've seen one, you've seen 10, you've seen 20. But if you're new, the only thing that I would say is don't look at your tools. Don't look at mastering every transition and every effect you have in your toolbox, but just try to tell a story. It doesn't matter if you only capture at 3 frames per second. It doesn't matter if your colors are off. But I would rather
Mm-hmm.
watch 10 minutes of an amazing story or something new than something which is super fancy, enhanced with AI or enhanced with other tools. For me, it's much more interesting to watch a video like Emily made um, about cancer. That's creative. That's creative stuff. That's what we need.
Yeah, that was very creative. I will definitely agree with you. She did a really well job with that.
Outside of SL, like I've seen people they make videos. It's like it uses all the AI, and it's just as Anne said, it's basically garbage, visual garbage. It's there's a lot of things. Even I'm not the best of a content writer. So, like I look at my own stuff and I think, like I wish I had learned more how to focus on writing and being more of, writing a script and all that. I think AI can help people, shortcut to things
Mm-hmm.
and, you can skip over the basics, shot framing and like on the spot I can't think of this stuff, but there's like a lot of nuances that make like a whole production that really adds that feeling of like something cinematic or
Mm-hmm.
something special. The shortcut potential is there, but in short I think it can go either way. I mean, like someone who's skilled, it's just gonna bring out it could help bring out a better production. Whereas someone who's new, they might, if they don't really learn the basics, it might, they might become too reliant on the tool set. And, they could, you could get stunned in that you might make a production, but it's not going to ever improve.
Eve.
I agree with Muli, and it's kind of how this is how I'm approaching my learning journey is I have been actively avoiding AI up until recently, and even then I'm hesitant to open it up and start trying just because I feel like I haven't learned all of the tools that are currently available to me at this time. And I come from a background where like I'm a musician, and if someone were to drop like a mixer on me without learning music theory in the first place, like, it probably won't make anything very good. So I'd really like to just learn the basics. And oh, I wish Chantal was here. Her and Safia showed a film series during Fantasy Fair that was made way back in the day, like 2007, 2008, way before AI could have come into the picture. And the storytelling with these like janky 2007 avatars and the tools that we had in Second Life at the time, it was an amazing story. It was incredibly funny. It didn't have any voice until the very last frame at the very end of the series. It was so Chaplin-esque, and I learned a ton just being in that presentation and kind of watching all of the films. It was a privilege to see something like that, and I cannot remember the creator's name, but just I felt renewed after seeing something like that. Just the potential that Second Life has to make machinima, and knowing the basics and learning good storytelling is so important.
Now, Eve, I know that you don't use it right now, but what do you think you could gain when using AI for generating visuals? Or do you think you could gain anything at all?
I feel absolutely that I can gain. I have a few ideas for videos where I plan on dipping my toes into utilizing the same resources that Anna uses to animate her avatar. Yeah, I'm low-key pretty excited about it. I'm just scared. I don't know why I'm scared. I shouldn't be scared. So I haven't started it yet, but it's marinating, it's coming.
Mooly.
I mean, if it came out looking good, I would think so.
Yeah.
But so far, I mean, I haven't really had anything that I could generate at like a 4K resolution that would look pretty.
Machinima production, just like any video production, has three stages, or has its three stages: pre-production, production, and then post-production. Do you guys think AI should be used in all stages, or do you think AI has its set place in only one or two of those stages?
Yeah, overall, I feel like I strictly use it for post-production. And I wouldn't want to utilize it in any of the creation of what I'm making. But I mean, that may change as I don't use the tools right now, and I don't understand their potential or how I could utilize them fully. But at this time, yeah, I'd want to just strictly post-production.
Okay. And Anna, what about you?
I don't see why you wouldn't use it in all three of them. I mean, in pre-production, for example, let's say you shot 500 scenes of something, and you want to make in a new video a memory of something from long time ago, and you can't find it in your file folder, and you can say, "Hey Google, can you figure out the scene where I did this and that?" And it gives you the video. Well, you just used AI in pre-production. Is that so bad? Did that change anything about your creative content? No, absolutely not. So of course you can use it. In production itself, I am using it, so I can't say anything else. And in post-production, there is already programs who have AI in post-production, who can, for example, balance sound with your voice. If you do a voiceover, that the other sound is being put more silent. But again, does that have any effect on what you did creatively? No. So absolutely, you can use AI in all stages. Again, for me, AI is a tool. If you use it creatively to enhance your creative process, all fine with me.
Yep. Yep. I agree that it's definitely a tool to help enhance. Mooly, what about you?
I've used AI in post production, pre production. You know, it's like sometimes trying to get like a creative idea or a creative angle. You know, aside from, you know, watching other movies, sometimes you need that little extra spark, you know, just that little extra idea. But in production. I mean, like there's been times I've actually used things such as like Bing AI to help me write scripts for Second Life. Like I made once a changing color wall, and I wanted it to flicker and all that. At the moment, it's not very good because you kind of have to have some programming knowledge. Because you spend more time trying to debug it than in actually, getting something useful out of it the first time. And then as far as post production, video editors are starting to add stuff like the AI masking, rather than sitting there and having to cut out, like trace and cut out, like say you wanted to cut out your, like an avatar or something to make it impactful. Put some, like instead of having a green screen, there's just times where you might have something like you just want to do like the whole masking, and instead of having to cut them out, it can do the masking for you.
What do you think, Fiore?
I agree with Muli and Anna. I've used it in at least pre to build scripts and post for little tweaks in the edit room. Probably not like during, unless I haven't gotten a chance to use bots as actors yet. So I don't think that counts, but I will once I get that one going. So I would use it in all stages.
How much transparency do you think is necessary when it comes to revealing the use of AI in the creation process? Do you feel like you need to be completely transparent with your audience that it was used?
No, I'll go first. No, you don't. Don't do it. Don't tell them. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think if you should list credits, right? Like if you were to make a show and you used an AI for a voice, and maybe listed in your credits. But I don't know that you should put like a disclaimer at the beginning of whatever you've made. That's my vote.
Anna, how do you feel about that?
I don't think you need to tell anything. Why would you? I mean, you created something that you wanted to create, and you give it to the people to watch it. I mean, why would there need to be a warning sticker? Hey, we used AI. And then,
Yeah.
okay, AI what? AI face animation, voice generation, music generation, talking AI, interpolation. I mean, we're all putting this all under the umbrella AI, and it's getting a little bit silly in a way. So no, absolutely not. There's no way you need to say it.
Muli, what about you? What do you think?
I don't think you have to tell the audience. I do think that like your work, it shows for yourself, and I mean, you're gonna get inspiration from someplace, and so because there are absolutely people who do pride themselves on saying no way I use this whatsoever, and that's perfectly fine. If you make something and it's quite good. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Eve.
I'm kind of on the fence. I think that's a road I'm gonna have to cross when I get there. I don't
Yeah.
see that it's absolutely necessary for people to. They don't say that they use Da Vinci to
Yeah,
edit their
that's
videos,
true.
so why would they say that they utilized AI in the production? So yeah.
The last final question here, and we'll start with Anna. Do you believe AI will open up a machinima to new audiences and help it advance to the industry level of traditional animation? Or do you think it could only widen the gap by alienating the traditional animation fan base that values handmade artistry?
Yeah, I hope it does open up more public to this. But I'm afraid that Second Life is already quite misunderstood by people outside of our little bubble, and it is a very little bubble. So I don't think the things I do will be watched by people outside of Second Life. Maybe if someone happens to like what I sing, that they might listen to that, but I don't think they will sit down and say, "Whoa, Anna took here Second Life, the game, and create something on top of it which is bigger." I don't think so. For me, it's just a creative process. It's the only way to get my story told to people. Machinima is not even my main thing. For me, it's the music. I just want to share my music with people. Someone said at some point, why don't you put a video on top of it? I try to do it. I'm trying to get better at it. And the only way to really do it for me is using this full face animation. It's the only way I can get feelings across. I mean, you'll see in a lot of my videos, and especially in my more recent ones, and very especially in the last one, there is a lot of emotion that I was able to transfer because I'm understanding the process better than before into Anna. I'm making her more real than Second Life allows me to. And that's what I want to do, because I want to get the music across, not only by my words, but also by little facial expressions, little eye movements, little tweaks in the face. My only alternative to this would be shoot a video in real life. And I'm not gonna do that, obviously, so
Yeah.
here you go.
Your videos are quite amazing as well. We always really enjoy watching them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Fiore, how about you?
Well, I mean, I got some pretty harsh critique on X the other day about how I should use AI to better sync my voices with the like the way that the mouths move. I know for like Second Life, I have like animations that just kind of move their mouths open and closed, and they might be smiling or they might not. So like that I think could maybe bridge the gap to make it feel a little bit more realistic, or a little bit more smooth in that way. And I think with Second Life, that's always the hang up, right? Like how good does it look? And so anytime a movie or like a video comes through that looks really good, it's always like, wow, check it out.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember too that like for me, for my work, I like to try to keep it close to Second Life, but like that's not like a rule for machinima. Machinima is still art, and you're creating a thing, and if that thing would look better this way, then maybe you should do it that way.
As far as advancing it to the industry level of traditional animation, absolutely not. No, no flipping way. I feel like with what I know to this point is that we have our own storytelling style. We have our limits, and a lot of times we have a very like SL centric story to tell that only people in Second Life would understand. I have seen there are more and more people slipping into Second Life and like live streaming their adventures here. I don't know how they're getting away with it because they are going to the sketchiest places I can imagine in the metaverse where I'm just like, I didn't even know that existed and I'm a little horrified. How did you find that place? It's just I want what I put out there to be very easy to consume for people that are outside of this particular realm. I don't have high hopes. Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Now, before we go, guys, we love to give our directors a chance to plug any upcoming projects you are working on. So the floor is yours. Anna, how about you start us out?
Yeah, I just released a video called Little Flower. This is again a music video set in a jazz club in arcade, if you were there, little club. What I did here is something different again because I took an instrumental track by a little known Australian band called the Putbacks. I heard it by accident on my Spotify playlist when I was on the beach in January. And immediately in my head, I heard some melody on top of it. Started writing down those notes and put some text on top of it. Then a month or two ago, I finally got to sing it, and it sounded to my ears really nice. And I didn't want to release it until I had a video made. But this one killed me to create actually because I think at least I put like 50 hours into it.
wow.
Doing scenes again and again and again and again and again until they looked right, especially the singing parts. But I'm very proud of this one because, well, I hope you'll all check it out. But the scenes where Anna sings is now as realistic as I can get them. I also pushed the envelope a little bit by using dream stories in the story, which are still shot in Second Life, but are enhanced quite a bit by AI. But in my view, it's more like using CGI. So let's see what people think. But it will be a
Awesome.
little bit controversial for sure.
Fiore, the floor is yours to plug any upcoming projects you're working on.
Namara, always Namara. We're almost done with all of episode 4, and then we'll be moving on to episode 5. I think at this point we have, right now we're working on part 28 and 29. So those should be coming up within the next couple of weeks. So really, really excited. I'm really excited because I finally get to use the voice for Ganji, who's, I don't know if you guys know Beetle Wilder, but he's agreed to be the voice for Ganji, so he won't be AI anymore. So that's really exciting.
Wow, exciting.
So yeah, that's cool stuff coming.
Nice, nice. Muli, how about you?
No major projects, but stay tuned. Who knows?
All right, and Eve, last but not least, how about you?
Yeah, no upcoming projects so far. Got a lot of things kind of in the holster coming. I just my partners and I have been doing a lot of building. We have a place called Valmore that we retired the old region and we're building up a new story. And I plan on making little machinimas there telling the story of Valmore. So we'll see how that goes.
That's exciting. How can we find that place?
I'll post a slurl in the Discord group.
That does it for this episode of the cast. Hopefully this discussion has helped you learn a bit more about AI and its use in machinima, and whether it has inspired you to dabble in it, or if you're still firm to stay clear of all things AI, we hope you still have fun creating out there. And we hope this discussion continues with an open mind and understandings on both sides of the line. Until next time, I'm your host, Laz, and we'll see you next time for more machinima discussion. See you there.